I fell at my sister's engagement party when her fiancé pulled out my chair, but his father's startling recognition exposed a secret that turned the celebration into chaos. My name is Miles. I'm 33, the oldest kid, the designated driver, the first call when the Wi-Fi blinks. I work full-time as an inventory coordinator at a home appliance warehouse, serial numbers, shipping labels, forklifts that only start if you talk nice to them. Nights, I do phone repairs for extra cash. I live in a one-bedroom above a barber shop that plays the same playlist every day at 7:10 a.m. I keep my receipts in a shoebox and a spreadsheet on my phone called Keep Breathing. It has 4 tabs: rent, food, gas, surprise. Surprise is undefeated. My sister is Ava, 28, the favorite. Mom says she makes a room brighter. What she actually makes is plans without budgets. If I say how much, Mom says don't be small. If Ava says, I have a vision, Mom claps like a studio audience. Our dad left when I was in high school, leaving us his toolbox and a habit of not answering calls. I kept the toolbox. Ava got engaged to Damien in July. Damien is the kind of guy who wears sunglasses inside and calls waiters boss. He posts rise and grind at noon. He has big ideas and a smaller respect for invoices. Mom loves him because he calls her Ma and brings flowers he doesn't buy. The engagement party was at a banquet hall you've definitely seen on Instagram, chandeliers with 2 mini light bulbs, gold chairs, a wall of fake roses for photos. I wore the only suit I own. I brought a small gift because it's how I make peace with rooms that never did. They sat me at a long table near the speakers. The DJ had the volume at We Don't Want to Hear Ourselves Think. The toast began. Someone tapped a glass with a fork. The Godfather told a story that was really about him. People laughed politely. I sat, smiled, drank water, thought about how many hours I'd need to replace my car's brakes. When I pulled my chair in, it moved away, not a wobble, a yank. I lost balance and went down hard. The room saw it before I did, a little gasp, a wave of chuckles. My elbow hit tile. I tasted metal. Damien stood behind me, both hands up like a magician revealing an empty hat. Your place is on the floor, bro, he announced into the mic, like it was a roast and not a dinner. Guests chuckled harder. The bridesmaids laughed the way people laugh to keep the peace. Ava covered her mouth like this was TikTok cute. Mom's face did that thing where she's not pleased, but she is pleased. I sat there for a second and looked at the grout. I could have made a scene. I could have thrown the chair. Instead, I stood, put the chair back where chairs go, sat down, and kept my hands on the table. I was not going to perform rage for a room that would call me dramatic and then post about love. I felt someone's eyes on me. From the head table, a man in a dark suit stared like he was solving a puzzle. Square jaw, old money watch, better posture than the rest of us. I recognized him from photos. Damien's father, Victor, owner of something. The family whispered contracts when they said his name. He leaned forward. He squinted. His face shifted. Then he stood up and walked over, dodging a server with a tray. Sir, is that you? He asked. He called me sir? The room wasn't built for that word landing on me. Damien laughed like he could repurpose this. Dad, this is Miles, he said, the comic relief. Victor didn't look at his son. He was still looking at me like I had walked out of a different story. What are you doing here? He asked, too loud for a whisper, too low for a mic. It's my sister's engagement, I said. I'm the brother. He blinked, like the sentence didn't make sense. His gaze flicked to Damien, then back to me. We need to talk, he said, and the way he said need got attention. Dad, Damien said, stretching the word like gum. What happened next isn't in the photos, I would later tell a friend. In the photos, you can see a chair, a smile, a toast. You can't hear a bank phone ringing in my pocket 2 hours earlier. You can't see a file folder on Victor's desk with my name on it. You can't see a line item labeled application, Miles a heart, joint line of credit, co-applicant Ava Hart. Initiated by Damien R. You can't see how many times surprise wins. The chair wasn't the first time I'd been under a table for this family. It was just the first time they laughed out loud. If you rewind our house, you land on small money and big stories. At 12, I saved coins in a jar for a used bike. At 11, Ava borrowed bills from Mom's purse to buy glitter pens. Mom said, don't be petty, when I asked for them back. We learned our roles early. I could hold weight. Ava could hold attention. At 16, I got a job at a grocery store and bought a beater Honda cash. When I scratched the bumper, Mom said I was careless. When Ava dented her borrowed car, Mom said, these things happen. I learned you can be wrong out loud because you're expected to be right. Ava learned she could be right out loud because she was expected to be loved. College wasn't for me. I did 1 semester, then the money ran out, and the math didn't. I started stacking boxes. I liked the feeling of solving a problem so solid you could cut tape on it. I like that a palate doesn't care if you smiled. Ava tried majors, then influencing, then men who liked the idea of trying. She got good at asking for help in ways that made you feel rude for saying no. Just until Friday, she'd text. Card got flagged. Can you add your card to this app so I can order the makeup for my brand? I'll remove it right after. Mom's power is due. I'm tapped from investing in myself. You're the logical one. I have an Excel sheet named Family. It started as a joke so I wouldn't get mad. It turned into a ledger because numbers are anchors when everyone else is a weather report. Line items like Ava phone, $162, Mom gas, $140, Ava tire, $118, Ava rent bridge, $1,400. In the last 4 years, that tab went from 3 lines to 128 total. I won't write the number isn't the villain. The habit is. When Ava met Damien, the requests got slick. He doesn't ask, he frames. We could do better together if we combine our resources. It's silly for you to pay rent when you could invest. We'll put your name on an LLC. It'll pay you back in equity. He says synergy like it's a finish line. He and Ava started planning the engagement party with other people's favors. We'll get comped because of exposure, Damien said. Exposure is a word broke people use when they want to skip the bill. The venue still wanted a deposit. Guess who everyone texted at 11 p.m.? No, I said. It felt like a stone I finally picked up. Don't be cruel, Mom said. We'll pay you back, Ava said, using the tone that sounds like singing. I'm not your sponsor, I said. They found someone else, or Mom covered it and didn't tell me, or the venue decided the publicity was a discount. Either way, my phone was quiet for 3 days. Then, 2 weeks before the party, my phone rang with a local number I didn't know. Hi, this is Bri from Red Oak Bank, the voice said. I'm calling to verify the joint line of credit application you started this morning. I didn't start anything, I said. My stomach did that drop like the elevator missed a floor. Oh, she said, it lists you as primary and an Ava Hart as co-applicant. Looks like an online start and in-branch finalize. What branch? I asked. Kingsford, she said. That's near Damien's gym and Ava's current apartment. I did not authorize that, I said. Please flag as fraud and freeze any movement. She took me through a script I recognized because I've done both sides of scripts, fraud alert, bureau freeze, file a report, ID affidavit. She gave me a number for their regional office, a Victor Russo. I put the number in my phone and didn't call immediately because I was at the loading dock, and a trucker was yelling about a missing pallet. Real life doesn't pause for identity theft. That night I called. A man picked up with a voice like he hadn't had to yell in years. Victor Russo, he said. I explained. He did not ask me to repeat myself. We'll stop any attempt from this branch, he said. We'll need your affidavit to lock this down. His tone was simple. He didn't tiptoe around the word fraud. He didn't say misunderstanding. He said crime. He asked, do you know who would have initiated it? My sister and her fiancé, I said, and the sentence tasted like pennies. Do you have a plan for how you want to play this with them? He asked, a question I didn't expect from a banker. Calm, I said, written. No yelling in kitchens. He said good and sent me forms in under 10 minutes. I filled out the affidavit. I froze my credit with all 3 bureaus. I added a secret passphrase to my accounts. I took my card off Mom's apps. I printed the branch camera policy in case I needed footage. I printed my family tab because sometimes the only way to stop hating people is to see the math. 2 days before the party, Mom called. We need you to pick up ice, she said, like nothing had ever been stolen with my name on it. I'll bring ice, I said, because spite isn't a boundary. Paperwork is. The party day came with shoes that hurt and jokes I'd heard. A chair moved. I sat on tile. People laughed. Then Victor saw me. The sound you didn't hear, in the video, was my phone vibrating at 5:12 p.m. with a text from Red Oak, attempted in-branch finalize blocked per fraud flag. And the sound you didn't hear 2 hours later was the edge in a father's voice when he recognizes the person his son tried to use. Victor guided me to a side room off the hall, the kind venues use to hold coats in awkward conversations. The door clicked behind us. He looked at my elbow, like he wanted to apologize for his son's hands. You're Miles, he said again, like he was confirming the universe's joke. The fraud alert on my desk this morning, the affidavit, your sister and my son. Yes, I said. He rubbed his jaw and gestured toward the main room. He pulled a chair. Your place is on the floor, bro, I said, dry. He inhaled through his nose and looked older for a heartbeat. I raised him better than that, he said. I didn't say anything because every parent says that when someone shows them what they raised. He straightened. Do you authorize any line of credit with Red Oak with your name on it? No, I said. Do you authorize my son or your sister to open anything with your name? No, I said. Do you want this pursued as fraud with the police? Not yet, I said. I want it documented. I want it blocked. I want a paper wall they can't pretend is just a mood. He nodded, like the answer was the right size. Good, we've frozen the attempt. We'll audit any touch on your profile in the last 60 days. He looked me over, like taking stock. Have you told your mother? Not yet, I said. She'll call me cruel. That's the word she likes. He tilted his head. Money makes people call boundaried men cruel, he said, like a lesson he learned too late. Mr. Russo, I started. Victor, he corrected. Victor, I don't want to make a scene in there, I said. I don't want to ruin her party. You already didn't, he said. They did. He put a business card in my hand. If there's one thing I can do as a father who failed to make a son honest, he said quietly, it's this. I'll stand next to you when you say no. We walked back into the hall. The DJ was playing a song about forever, like it was a guarantee. I sat. Victor stood behind his son and put a hand on his shoulder, the way you do when you're about to press down or pull back. Damien, he said, calm like a loaded table, you and I need to talk, not later. Now. Damien tried to play it. Dad, don't kill the vibe. Victor didn't move his hand. Which of your vibes told you to open a line of credit with another man's name? The room tried to pretend it didn't hear. You could feel everyone choosing not to turn. Damien laughed. It was for a gift, he said, a surprise for Ava. Family. Victor looked at me, then at his son. Family isn't a debit card, he said. You're going to apologize for the chair. Dad, Damien said. Victor didn't raise his voice. Now. Damien looked at his audience and realized this wasn't a show people wanted anymore. He turned to me, performed contrition, and said, Sorry, bro. He said bro like a comma. He didn't meet my eyes. Now the other thing, Victor added. Damien stared at his father. You're really going to do this here? You did it here, Victor said. Ava made a noise like someone had stepped on a cat. Miles, don't be like this, she said quickly, as if my silence was the attack. It's a misunderstanding. There it is, I said softly. Mom moved into position. We don't take family to the cleaners, she said, voice low, the phrase she uses in place of thinking. I'm not, I said. I'm taking my name out of your shopping cart. A server with a tray stopped, unsure if he should be in the scene. He kept moving because the plates were hot. The room shifted, hungry for someone to declare it over. I stood because my legs wanted to leave, not because I wanted attention. I kept my voice low enough that only the table could hear. Here's what's happening, I said. You will not use my name, my social, my credit, my address, or my card. You will not open accounts with me on them. You will not add me to anything without my written consent. Ava said, You always make it about you. I nodded at her, like she'd said something true. It is about me, I said. It's my name. Damien opened his mouth with a new angle, and I held up a hand, because I am done with filibusters. Also, I added and pulled a simple envelope from my inside pocket. There's a letter in here to Red Oak authorizing only me, and me alone, to touch my profile. There's a copy of the affidavit. There's a copy of the fraud alert. And there's this. I slid a single line across to Ava. It was a list of every just till Friday with date, amount, not a bill, a mirror. Mom hissed, petty. No, I said. Precise. Damien snorted. This is revenge. This isn't about revenge, I said steady. This is about closure. Victor's hand tightened on his son's shoulder. You will not touch another line of his, he said. You will not ask your mother to do it. You will not ask anyone in this room to co-sign your character for you. Damien's jaw worked. You're humiliating me. You did that, Victor said. I put the envelope on the table beside my water. My gift is still a gift, I said to Ava. Because I am not trying to be a monster. It's a check and a note. It's for a bridal seamstress and alterations because I've seen too many women suffer fabric that doesn't fit because the budget ran out. Ava blinked. Shock flickered. Then pride tried to return. See, she said to the table. He's nice. I'm not nice, I said. I'm clear. I left then, not with a slam. Chair pushed in, napkin folded. I nodded at Mom. She didn't nod back. Victor walked me to the door, like a security detail you hire with a sentence. At the exit, he said, You're doing something I never learned how to do at your age. Say no, I said. He shook his head. Not perform it, live it. The hallway outside smelled like lemons and cold. My phone buzzed, Red Oak, attempted finalize at 7:48, blocked. I put the phone in my pocket and stepped into the night, like a man whose name fit back into his wallet. The next morning, my phone looked like a slot machine. 27 missed calls from Mom, 10 from Ava, 8 from numbers I didn't have saved, probably cousins, 2 from unknowns that turned out to be Damien leaving voice notes like a mixtape. You made a scene. You embarrassed my father. You could have talked to me like a man. You think you're better because you got a spreadsheet. I let them pile up until they felt small. Mom's texts were a weather pattern, rage, then syrup. You ruined your sister's night. We don't air laundry in public. We need to talk. I know you're hurting. You went too far. Family first. I sent one message back. No money or housing by phone. Email only. No more accounts with my name. She replied, this isn't about money. It is always about money. Ava posted a story with a photo of us as kids. Some people never grow up. Comments, facts. Blood is thicker than water. Haters will hate. I deleted the app for a week, not as a statement, but because my heart likes quiet. At lunch, I called Victor. You don't have to keep being in this, I said. I do, he said. He's my son. He's your adult son, I said. He exhaled. Fair. Then I removed him from any access to family accounts. He's furious. He'll learn a new language, or he won't. Thank you, I said. He paused. Do you need anything from me in writing for your file? The question startled me, in the way kindness does when you expect a bill. Yes, I said. A note that Red Oak denied the application and that any attempt on my profile from Kingsford branch is flagged. He sent it that afternoon. It lived in a folder with a label printer sticker, mine. At the warehouse, life continued at the reasonable pace of freight. I replaced the wheel on a pallet jack that squealed. I trained a new kid named Nico who listens when you show him once. I took an extra phone repair job and said no to 3, because my nights belonged to my bones. I filed freezes with the 3 bureaus, set a passphrase on my accounts that only means something to me, and added phone alerts for any charge over $20. I took my card off Mom's Amazon and her streaming platforms. I found 3 subscriptions I'd been paying for and canceled them with prejudice. 2 days after the party, Ava texted, we need the deposit for the photographer by Friday. You promised to help. I scrolled our thread for the promise. There wasn't one. I replied, no. She sent 14 messages in 2 minutes, Petty. Your new money, power trip. Please, just this one. I'll pay you Friday. I turned on Do Not Disturb and ate eggs standing up. On day 3, my aunt called. She never calls. I wasn't there, she said. I heard things. Are you okay? I'm good, I said. You know your mother will make this your fault, she said. I know, I said. She taught me long division and how to take the blame. She laughed in a way that sounded like a cry. If you write down your rules, tape them inside a cabinet, she said. Read them out loud. It helps. I did. 5 lines. I don't send money I can't afford never to see again. Family doesn't mean you can have my name. I don't explain math to people who prefer magic. Money conversations in writing. No fights in kitchens. Locks are not cruelty. Locks are clarity. I read them while my coffee dripped. It felt silly, then strong, then normal. Victor asked to meet. We sat on a bench outside a coffee shop. He looked tired, less shiny. I've been making it easy for him, he said. I called it love. It was laziness. Easier to pay than to parent. I built him a trampoline he thinks is a floor. I built one too, I said. Excel. He nodded toward the folder in my bag. You did work I should have. I shook my head. You're doing it now. He pulled an envelope from his jacket. This is a letter on bank letterhead confirming you have no open applications and that the attempted Kingsford line was denied due to fraud. There's also a note removing any coordinator ability from any party but you. He looked at me carefully. Would you want me at any if you decide to push? I'm not pushing, I said. I'm building a fence. He nodded. Fences are better than fights. The blowback kept trying to find new shapes. Damien posted a photo of himself at the gym with a caption, Real men provide. The comments were chest-thumping. Then one of his buddies messaged me, he's been using your name, low. I didn't respond. I don't do court in DMs. A week later, Mom showed up at my place unannounced. I didn't buzz her up. I texted, email. She texted, don't be ridiculous. I said, email. She left a bag of oranges at the door, like a compromise. I took them in and ate one. It was bitter and good. Ava's fiancé tried the sweetness angle. Bro, we got off on the wrong foot. Let's meet man to man. I'll show you the business plan. I wrote, no. He wrote, you're scared. I wrote, no. He wrote, then come to dinner. I wrote, no. A week and a half later, Ava sent a photo of a spreadsheet, 3 small payments she'd made to different vendors highlighted. Caption, see? We're handling it. I wrote, good. Handle the rest. She sent a screenshot of a meme about never forgetting who was there when you had nothing. I sent a period because sometimes punctuation is therapy. The engagement didn't break. It bent. They shrank the guest list for financial intimacy. The wall of roses looked smaller in photos. Mom posted a sunset with God provides. I hearted it. Even thieves sometimes love the sky. It's been 3 months. Life is boring in ways that heal. The scam calls slowed after the fraud alert stuck. The bank texts feel like neighbors instead of alarms. The warehouse still hums. My car still needs brakes, but I can plan for them now instead of praying at every red light. Ava and I text like two people who share a last name, but not a budget. She sends me photos of dresses that look like confetti and asks, "Too much?" I say, "If you love it, it's right." She doesn't ask for money in that thread. That feels like adulthood. Mom's script softened a little. She sends me deals on dish soap and pictures of birds. She still tries to bait me into "you know your sister," and I answer with the weather. When she says family first, I hear my version of family first and change the subject to blueberries. It's not forgiveness, it's a diet. Victor and I are not friends. We're two men who built a path to the same fence from different sides. He sends me a quarterly note, "No activity on your profile." He signs it with his title. Sometimes he adds, "How's the warehouse?" I write back, loud, "Good." I don't tell him that his one sentence makes something in me unclench. He probably knows. I kept my 5 rules inside the coffee cabinet. I added one more: I don't argue with microphones. I write letters. I read them out loud when I make eggs. It felt silly. It feels like breath now. People want a twist where Ava confesses, cries, and returns every dollar. That's not what happened. She sent $200 one day with a note. For that time I said Friday. I said thank you. I wrote it down. I didn't add interest. I didn't add a speech. She booked a seamstress and didn't ask me to hold the appointment on my card. Progress is a specific silence. Damien hasn't pulled another chair near me. He hasn't asked me to co-sign his grind. We've been in the same room twice. He was polite, the way men are when their father can hear. He didn't look at my chair. I didn't look at his hands. If you want a moral, it's boring and it works. Don't fund the story where you are the villain and the sponsor. Don't let family be a coupon code for your legal name. Put money in writing. Put love in sentences, not accounts. Say no like a period, not a paragraph. Build a fence. Keep a door. Use both. This isn't about revenge. This is about closure. I still live above the barbershop. The playlist still starts at 7 to 10 a.m. I still carry a small screwdriver set in my backpack because things wobble, and I like being the kind of person who tightens, not tears. When my phone buzzes at a time that used to mean trouble, I check the sender, breathe, and decide. If it's the bank, I answer with my passphrase. If it's family, the cabinet decides. I'm not a co-applicant for chaos anymore. I'm a man who chooses what he funds with money, with time, with silence. And for the first time in a long time, I'm clear.